Hey guys, I hope you're doing well and looking forward to starting this last week of school here, if you can believe it, your last week of ninth grade English. And I hope you have a good week. And let's get started here on page 331. We're continuing to talk about improving our writing style. So last week we talked about improving our style by correcting a choppy style. Today we're going to talk about correcting a stringy style. What do I mean by a stringy style of writing? What that means is when you have several independent clauses and you just try to string them all together in one sentence using words like and so, and then. That's a stringy style when you try to put them all together. So let's talk about some ways that you can correct that. First of all, one way that you can correct that is by subordinating some of your independent clauses as adverb clauses. Remember, adverb clauses are introduced by subordinating conjunctions. So let's look at our example there. Jacob was barely out of high school, and he seemed especially mature. So instead of just connecting those with an and, let's turn one of those clauses into an adverb clause. So, though Jacob was barely out of high school, he seemed especially mature. So we started with our subordinating conjunction here, though, and we made an adverb clause out of it. Okay. Another way that we can correct our stringy style is to make some clauses into phrases. Okay, so reducing them to phrases, either a prepositional phrase and a positive phrase, a verbal phrase, which would be a gerund or an infinitive or a participle. All right, so let's look at some examples there. We were in Strasbourg, and we saw the Rhine River. Well, let's just say in Strasbourg, we saw the Rhine River. So we turned this clause here into just a prepositional phrase. Another example here, making it a positive phrase. Mr. Swanson is the sheriff, and he has spoken in chapel. Well, let's just make it a positive there. Mr. Swanson, the sheriff, has spoken in chapel. It just avoids that stringy style, okay? And then let's make one into a participle phrase. So the boy ran quickly, and he won the race. Well, let's make that a little bit better. Let's turn that running quickly. Let's make it a participle phrase. The boy running quickly won the race. All right, just corrects that stringy style. And then another way that we can correct it is by eliminating. Make sure you eliminate so or and then. Okay, get rid of those things. Let's look at a few examples here. Michael pulled a tendon, and so he could not finish the race. So let's make it into an adverb clause again. Because Michael pulled a tendon, he could not finish the race. All right, let's look at another one. We wanted to save money, so we bought an economy car. Let's get rid of the so and just make this into an infinitive. To save money, we bought an economy car. Next one, we went into the backyard and then we played volleyball. Let's get rid of the and then and just say we went into the backyard and played volleyball. Okay, so now let's practice. So if you'll take your book at 331, we're looking at exercise A. We want to rewrite these sentences and follow the directions that are in the parentheses there. So number one is telling us to make that italicized portion into an adverb clause. So if we do that, we can get rid of the and so that's in the middle there. What word could we put at the beginning of the sentence to make that an adverb clause? All right, if you said because, you are correct. Because the poet Edward Taylor believed a personal relationship with God was important, he spent much time in meditation and prayer. Number two, Ethan McGraw is the school's best basketball player, and he was awarded a college scholarship. Okay, so it's telling us to make a positive phrase. So how would you do that? Ethan McGraw, comma, then what would you say? The school's best basketball player, comma, was awarded, right? And you could get rid of the and he. All right, number three, the birds flapped their wings and then they shattered the air with their cries. We want to get rid of and then. Let's make a compound verb. So the birds flapped their wings and shattered the air with their cries. Good, turn the page. Number four is telling us to make an infinitive phrase. So instead of saying Mrs. Brent wanted to prevent the growth of mildew, so she, all right, what would you do? Cross out Mrs. Brent wanted, right? And just say to prevent the growth of mildew, Mrs. Brent installed a dehumidifier in her home. Number five, Let's make this into a participle phrase. So the Hope Diamond, comma, then what would you do? Weighing 45 carats, comma, is one of the most valuable gems. Good. Number 6, we want to change this into a prepositional phrase. So what are we going to cross out? Cross out we were, right? And just start it with, in Asheville, North Carolina, we visited. That gets rid of the and so and get rid of the first 2 words. All right. Number 7, make it a compound verb. Let's get rid of the and then. We don't like that. Okay. So the defense attorney rose to his feet and began to address the jury, right? Number 8, again, we want to make it a positive phrase. So Antonio Stradivari, comma, a famous violin maker, comma, constructed over 1,100 instruments. All right, number 9, we want to make an adverb clause. So we need to put a subordinate conjunction at the beginning of the sentence. What word would you put there? Did you say because? Because sharks have no swim bladder, they must keep moving or sink. All right, number 10, participial phrase, a construction of Hoover Dam, comma, begun in 1930, comma, was not completed. All right. All right, exercise B. Improve these sentences using any of the methods. Now, these sentences don't tell you what method to use. You get to figure it out and you get to choose a method. So let's look at number 1 and see which method would work the best. Hans Martins is our church music director. He plays the bassoon and the oboe in civic concerts. What do you think would be the best method to choose here? I would choose making it a positive phrase. So I would say Hans Martins, comma, our church music director, comma, plays the bassoon and oboe. All right, number 2, we were ready to take the tent down, but it started raining hard, and so we had to wait. A lot of problems here, okay? We want to get rid of the and so. We want to get rid of the conjunction there. So let's begin the sentence with a subordinating conjunction to make an adverb clause. What should we put there? What are you doing? Did you say when? When we were ready to take the tent down, comma, it started raining so hard that we had to wait. Good. Number 3, Wagner wrote the music for his operas. Wagner wrote the librettos for his operas. Okay, how could I take these, combine it into one sentence? What would you do? Okay, let me see what you did. I would say Wagner wrote both the music and the librettos for his operas. Combine them together. Did you do something like that? I hope so. Number 4, let's see what we can do. The museum's prize exhibit was a collection of Steuben glassware, and the collection was carefully protected from curious children and clumsy sightseers. All right, so let's get rid of the and, that stringy style there. So what would you do? I'll tell you what I think you should do. The museum's prize exhibit, a collection of Steuben glassware, was carefully protected. So we're going to make a positive phrase. That's the best thing to do. Number 5, the political situation was unsteady, and so the prime minister called for new elections. Let's get rid of the and so by making an adverb clause. So put a subordinating conjunction at the beginning. Which one do you think would fit best there? Did you say because? You could say because or since the political situation was unsteady, the prime minister called for new elections. Number 6, the Library of Congress contains almost 119 million items and 530 miles of bookshelves, and it is the largest library in the world. I'll tell you the best thing to do is going to be to make a participle phrase. So the Library of Congress, comma, what did you put? Did you put containing? You should have. Containing almost 119 million items and 530 miles of bookshelves, comma, is the largest library in the world. All right, number 7. How would you correct number 7? Let me give you a second. You think about it. Okay, what would you do? The safety pin was patented by Walter and Hunt in 1849. Makes it much more simple. All right, number 8. Aaron rang the doorbell. He heard quiet footsteps, and then he heard muffled voices. We want to get rid of and then. So let's put this all together in one sentence. How would you do it? You should do After Aaron rang the doorbell, he heard quiet footsteps and muffled voices. So we make an adverb clause there to put those together. All right, number 8, Mr. Payne hoisted the mainsail, and then he tacked it into the wind. Let's make a compound predicate, compound verb there. So you could say, Mr. Payne hoisted the mainsail and tacked into the wind. Good. All right. So that's all we're going to do for today. Tomorrow, in your assignment, there will be some exercises for you to do. We're going to skip a couple pages and skip over to page 339 tomorrow and do some exercises to help us to get ready for our exam that will be coming up at the end of the week. So we'll do some exercises tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday we'll have a Google Meet so that we can go over some things and get you ready for your exam coming up on Thursday. So we will see you then.